Hi my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. So we have the layout now for our mystery quilt along with the Fat Quarter Shop. I want to remind you that Kimberly at the Fat Quarter Shop, who is the owner of the Fat Quarter Shop, she has been doing a video every week stepping you through the entire process of that week's blocks. And so you're going to want to go watch that today because we have one inset seam in the layout. And she's going to show you expertly how to do that with great camera angles. And so I'm not doing that part, I'm not demoing that part, but you can go over and watch hers. So we have the layout, which, ta-da, you've got, here it is. And what I've done right now is at this point I have the center done, but not those borders from last week. So I want to show you that and then talk about the borders so you can see how, and I'll show you on the pattern there how the inset, there's one seam, just one, and you'll get to practice that. Lucky you. So here we go. So this is the middle. Now, a bunch of you have been sort of messing around and doing your own versions and layouts. Some of you flipped these to the inside already and did it that way. So you can mess around and position these. You basically have two positions for these outer green ones, and then you could also position these a different way. But depending on how your fabrics are, it might look a little funky because if fabric extends, the point, the color of the fabric, see, it extends out from this block to this block. So if I flip that, I would have this dark red over here, which I don't want that. I don't want that. Okay, so what do we have? Let me get the pattern and just show you on the pattern, because we have these strips and they're going to go around kind of log cabin style. Many of you have done a log cabin where you're sort of sewing a strip, sewing a strip, sewing a strip. Then when you get the last one, there's going to be a tail hanging off because you aren't going to sew all the way to the end of that third one, so that you can sort of put this tail on. And there's her examples of how it's going. So you're sewing all the way around. And the very first one is a bit longer. So here, yeah, so there it is. So you can see that it hangs over, and then you sew across the top, and then you sew across the other side. And then when you end up working on the bottom one, you've got the little process down here to get that look of how the final one is. So for me, I changed out my one fabric so that it wasn't quite as light, which means that mine really are quite, they give the feel of all being the same, even though they're different fabrics, because the density of the pattern is so similar that so I can just put them any way I want. And of course I've still got the critters on the design wall, so I can't put it on the wall, so I'm going to lay it on the floor. And then let me just take the other camera real quick and we'll look at it. First, so that you can see, the diamond goes right in the middle of the star point. And this is the longer of the two. Remember, there's a shorter and a longer, so the longer is on the bottom. And then the next time, it's always on the left. Left, right, left, right. It'll be left, right down here. So I have the longer and the shorter, and now you can see that will go, there's no hangover there. The only part that hangs over is going to be right here where we're coming back up. So I will put on the next two. Hold on. There you can see the other side and then the bottom. And when I'm sewing this one here, you will be starting in some, so that this is up here like this. There will not be sewn, so it'll be sewn but without like a ½ an inch, or you could leave an inch, doesn't matter, you can leave as much as you want, whatever you feel comfortable with, but you don't sew it all the way to the bottom on your very first strip, because you need to have that up out of the way so that you can take this fourth strip and sew it, and then after that you'll just finish by flipping this down and sewing it over. So that's the basics. Kimberly will show you exactly how to do that. It is not hard at all. But she's doing the demo, so I'm just going to let her do that. I love how that green looks here. Okay, so I'm going to sew this, and then there's another outer white border. I'll put that on, and we'll see how it looks. Okay, a few of you are probably yelling about the placement And so I flipped that one because I had it flipped the other way, which was wrong. So, you know, they're opposites. But somehow this one I must have cut wrong. So it should be the big flower at the top there and that stripe down here, so they're opposite like that. So what I have to do is just cut one more piece of this, and then I'll be trimming that. And I just take that one off, and then I'll be trimming that other one. So I have to go do that before I can sew it on. So I've got two sides on, and you can see here I've just overlaid. See? Okay, let me fix it. So here it is. I fixed everything, got it all done, and the Star of Wonder. And you could do this with any fabrics. This is not a Christmas image at all. So you could do it for colors of another holiday or just like baby cut. Wouldn't this be a great baby quilt? I did my border 3.5 inches cut, this white border, because that's about as big as I wanted. It's going to hang in my dining room. That's where I'll hang it. And so I had to measure, and that was good. So backing, let me show you quick. I'd forgotten, but I looked in the bin. Then I remembered. I have the panel, the Kitty Christmas panel. Look how stinking cute she is. Look at her. And this is the exact length. It's not as wide, but it's the exact length. So because this will go to the spa, to the long armor, I will put some fabric on the top and bottom and the sides, and then I can actually reverse it. So I could hang it one time with the kitty, and another time I can use it with the star on the front. So yes, that is so awesome. I'm loving this. We will do a recap next Tuesday. We'll just do a little recap, and hopefully you will have shared some things, and so I can share your pictures of your tops. So you want to get tops done in the next few days, and I'll grab photos from out on Facebook community, Quilt Along with Pat Sloan. Let's see. It is the celebration for today. It is Cheesecake Day. Are you a cheesecake person? If you are, tell me in the comments here at YouTube, or go over to the Fireside Chat at Facebook and chat about it. You can share a recipe if you want. Maybe I'll dig out a recipe I had from a job. Maybe I'll tell you about it over there. A job that I had where people were food crazy. And one of the big deals was the cheesecake. So yeah, I learned how to make cheesecake when I worked in St. Louis at Anheuser-Busch. Okay, I've got a couple of state fabrics. Yay! This is from Nancy in Oklahoma, and she said they were from the Shop Hops. And let me show you her card. Forgot to get that out. So look at this. A little monogram card for Nancy. Beautiful. And then she sent, okay, so remember you can go and see what states I still need to get. You can see it on the state page. So this is a Batik. It was the one of the Shop Hops. And then this other, I haven't opened this all the way, but it looks beautiful. Oh, it's a bunch of, oh, cool. A bunch of different images. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. Wow. Wow, so pretty. That's really neat. So the Shop Hops get quite creative, and they're really fun. They're really fun. And I know some of you, when you go on travels, and one of our friends mentioned that when she was on travels, she was looking for Shop Hop fabrics. Okay, this one is, you know, they go fast, so you don't always find them. This one's from Patty in Ohio. Look at the little quilty pig. Oh my goodness, so cute. So stinking cute. And she sent me some Ohio fabric. So nice. And then something I might be able to use in the dinosaur fabric. So I will see how that plays, if it's got the right shade of magenta. And it's got the little, love the little rainbows. Thank you for thinking of me for that. Thank you. And then the last one is a group of fabrics, and these were on Shop Hops from Dolores in Michigan. The Be Happy. So she has several here. So she's got a Michigan fabric. There we go. It's got a Michigan fabric right there. And she has one. This was from Wyoming. So got the image the image on there, the horse rider on batik. And let's see, this one here is Utah, because this one, she was on the ones they were traveling. They would go into the stores and she would just see, what kind of fabrics they had that were regional or just, or for a shop hop, state fabric. And then Kansas, state of Kansas. The little apple, it says here on the back. It's got some sunflowers. Very awesome. Mwah, love it. Okay, let me push this aside a second. I am loading the photos of the fabric and your first name at the state fabric page. Just go to I Love to Make Quilts, look at the current projects is on the last line of those before you get to the first article. And you can just go over there and see what fabrics I have already, because I don't need a ton from each state, just a couple from each state, because I'm not totally sure how I'm going to do this yet or what it's going to look like. So I have a little bit of figuring out, but I don't need like 40 Ohio, fabrics. That would be just too many. And so you can see which states I still need, and you might overlap. Somebody might be sending some, so that's okay. That's why I said I'll incorporate everything I can that comes. All right. So I have a little bit more on the critter quilt, which will be the last kind of computer thing. So she says, the last computer thing. So let's take a look. Looking down here, so I've got the top sections done. Looking down here, this one is 8 inches wide, so the penguin can take up part of this room if I want to keep the penguin. Otherwise, maybe I'll keep him for the back. I just thought he was cute. But if he's not going to work, he's not going to work. And that's at this point, because this one is wide enough. I don't know how tall the penguin is. Let me check. Oh, good. The penguin can actually go right here on this guy. And so what I'll do is just make a little tag so that when I print this, I know it's the penguin. All right, good. Because then what I can do is use some spaces like this and this and this to possibly find some blocks in the parts center, which might be cute to add in a few pieced blocks. So I have some bad construction going on through here. I don't have a straight sew line. Do you see this little jag in there? That's a no-no. And so in order to get something reasonable, maybe I have to move these guys down here. These guys have moved down here. And what would I do here? Like make another little piece like this, make a piece up here. I mean, it's just not normal construction. Plus, in the end, see, like that, then you have something around here. But the problem is I still can't sew. I can't sew straight down here because there's not a good vertical. There's no good vertical there. Things need shifted a little bit. Like this could maybe shift over here. This could shift. Then I could get that vertical. Does the buffalo shift and give me the vertical? Maybe. See, that's what I have to do. That kind of stuff. So I have vertical sewing, when I'm over here, vertical sewing, vertical. I did notice up in here, I had to switch around because I had this all kind of weird and I could do vertical, but then this stuff was like I had this extended down like that. And so that doesn't really work out. I could sew this to here. That would have worked out. I could sew that to there. We'll see what the flamingo needs in the long run. All right, so let me just shuffle this stuff down here. So right now, in order to do the flamingo and the penguin, which are those little fusible animals, I have them in here, but I didn't lay this out with a great big section. The flamingo needs 4.5 inches wide. That is only 1 inch. And the penguin needs 5 3/4. And so I thought, well, I could either shove the frog all the way over, like if I shove the frog all the way over here, I'm not sure that only gives me 3 inches. So that is not the solution. Instead, I could see, can I move the dog over all the way? And then how wide is that? That is now 4 3/4 basically. So I can put the flamingo in there, and that would mean removing that piece. So the flamingo could go here, this could come over, and there. So Just gotta mess around here a little bit. Okay, so I'll mess around in a second, but this could be the flamingo. So that leaves the penguin, which is almost 6 inches wide. And he's also a little bit taller than that. And so these sections here are not going to work, and that's not going to work. So even though they're laid out on the board, so right now I could put the flamingo here. So that will work. So I'll probably go ahead and shuffle this around. So I went from this to this. And then what I do is I take this final thing and I will walk through it kind of with a fine-tooth comb, looking for places that the construction might be off, where I might have to do a partial seam or something like that, like we just did on this Star of Wonder. I don't really want to do partial seams if I don't have to. That one wasn't bad, but if they're a little tricky, like I was showing you, I mean, they're just fussy and I don't want to do those. So I just try to change it up enough that it'll work. And I will go in and I will write the sizes on all of the sashings by hand. And this will then be my worksheet. And I will, some of these blocks are moved around, and so I will get those down and change them. So that all has to happen next. And once I have all that, I'll probably go by row. Well, I'll probably just have them all up there, but I need to write all that stuff down first. Okay, I have the August calendar. There we go. There we go. Our one new thing for August to sew, because August is kind of that month where a lot of people are out of town or you have things going on. August is just a tough month to do things. So we have the kites, which is also called like a hummingbird block. And I showed you that the other day. That's the one new thing that we'll be doing on Tuesdays in August. So you can download this off my website. All right, tackle it Tuesday, because it's Tuesday. I have been stalling on doing the next part for this. I had cut out and all of the square, and I didn't cut out all the squares. I kind of like started to look at the panels, because there's panels. Where is one of them? Hold on. This is the Hello Boo fabric. So I had some that were panels, and then I made like 5 of the stars. And I really needed to cut all the strips, and I wasn't. I was avoiding it, and I realized what I was avoiding it is because there's thin strips. Let me show you. I finally got it done. This is my Tackle It Tuesday the other day. I finally got it done, because the thing is, I probably, whoops, those are little squares. The little squares. I probably should starch all this, and I'm just not into starching yardage. I will starch some small pieces to do small blocks, like I don't have to, like pieces about like, maybe a fat quarter, but I don't want to starch yardage. It's just not my thing. And so I'm going to do a row. That's how I decided to handle this. I am going to do a row at a time, and I am doing one less on my row. So here's the row, and I am doing one less, but then that means I'm switching a few of the blocks around, but I will have them all laid out like this, and then I can sew all of the blocks for the row, put the row together. So I decided, okay, that is going to be my thing. Now I am going to do this one unstarched, so these little guys are not starched, they're small. And so I'll see if for some reason they bother me a lot, which I don't think they will, but if they do, then I will revert. I will think about starching. That's just kind of the way it goes. Let's see. Okay, so one other thing, I had a Q&A. Let me see if I can get 1 or 2 of them in. So the first Q&A was from Marie, and she wanted to know about nesting your seams. Like if the seam is not nested, what do you do? So logically, what are your options? 1, you can undo the seam or go repress the seam, basically repress the seam. Or 2, you might unpick it depending on where you are and then repress it. Or 2, just fold the fabric in the way that you want it. Now when I'm doing so I'll give you an example. So here's the backing of these lemon chiffon blocks. Okay, so they are super easy because dark and light, press to the dark side. They alternate dark and light, perfect. But life isn't perfect. Fabric is not a piece of wood. It is very pliable and it moves. And so sometimes on the back, my seam will have shifted like here, right? So let's see that one. So there, the seam is shifted, and what do? I just push that one out of the way. So so you can see that. I just push it out of the way and move on. I have made over 800 quilts. I've published 30 books. I've done zillions of magazines. Now, I've given many quilts. Not one person who has ever contacted me to say the seam on the back is folded funny. Not one person. So you'll be fine if you do it that way. It'll be fine. Oh. Okay, I'll answer one more question, and this was from Carol, and she wanted to know if I use non-stick needles for my everyday sewing or for like the wave stitch and that kind of thing. I use the non-stick needles when I'm using fusible. Otherwise, I don't see any reason because there's nothing sticky. Maybe you're thinking I'm because of the spray basting for the quilting part of it, but I don't find that the spray basting is sticky. If you are having trouble, then convert to a non-stick needle. So that would be an option to try, but they're great for fusible. Okay, so I'm excited. The Star of Wonder is done. Let's take another look. Star of Wonder, here she is. Oops, here she is. Ta-da! And next Tuesday I will do a little parade of some of yours. So get some tops done for me. So okay, my friend, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.